Hi everyone, I'm your host Janae, and I'm so excited to announce my new podcast, Model Release. This has been in the works for such a long time, and I'm so excited it's finally here. Model Release is a podcast featuring conversations with models, actors, musicians, and other artists pursuing their dreams here in LA. We'll be getting behind the glam and inside the grind. Hey guys, welcome to episode 1 of Model Release. Today I have a very special guest for my very first episode. She's a supermodel, it girl, sweetheart, a Vegas native, and she has a face card that quite literally never declines. She has graced the cover of Vogue, and she was also the June 2022 Playmate. She's modeled for literally everyone that you could think of, from Nike to Nordstrom to Kim Kardashian to Alo and I Am Gia and everything in between. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Alicia Olivas.
Thank you so much. Gosh, I'm so flattered to be here and to have you as your first guest. And I think this is going to be great and fun.
Yay. When I was thinking of who I wanted to have on season 1, I knew I wanted to have you, but I chose you for my first ever episode because I feel like I kind of was able to see your journey like from afar on Instagram. And I feel like you kind of came to LA, and just from the outside looking in, it looked like your career in modeling just skyrocketed. But I know there's a lot behind the scenes that people don't see. So I'm excited to learn more about your journey with the people watching.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I'm excited to share my journey. And, I think there's a lot to it for sure.
I'm excited. I'm so proud of you too. I feel like you've accomplished so much and you're so humble. So.
Thank you so much. Yes. I appreciate that.
First, we're going to get into the journey. So what first drew you to LA and how did you get started with your career?
Well, since being a native from Vegas, I would go to LA a lot. And I first would go to open castings, and I actually was scouted on my best friend's Instagram story, and they asked me to go out to see them, the agency, and I got signed, and I was getting jobs, and I was going back and forth and doing the whole commuting, which was really rough.
Yeah, for sure.
And my agent at the time told me I needed to move there because it just, work was pretty consistent, so I ended up moving.
That's so awesome. Yeah. That's cool that you had something, set up beforehand.
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of people will move here without a plan, and then it's not what they think it's going to be.
With, hopes that things are going to work out. Yeah. And that's, a huge gamble, too.
And that could be really overwhelming once you're in LA, and it's like, all right, now what?
The pressure.
What do I do? Yeah,
the pressure
the timing
of making it.
and, how expensive it is to live here is just crazy.
Yeah.
What was the moment you knew you wanted to pursue this full time?
I think, honestly, when I got signed, I think it was that affirmation that it was meant for me and that the journey that I was taking was the right path. And I think just seeing the clients and people and just photographers and creatives that wanted to work with me, I was like, wow. I was like, this is great. This is amazing. I think it just it affirmed that I needed to do that full time.
Can you share a story of when you felt like giving up and what kept you going?
I feel like there was never a time where I felt like, wow, I want to give up, because I think just being in this, having this many of opportunities, how could I give up? I think I was so blessed, and I think that, seeing my family and my friends so proud of me and seeing that I was going after what I loved, I couldn't give up, and I think I needed to push through no matter what.
Yeah. Were your family and friends surprised to see your career, or did they think you were going to model before?
I think that they didn't know it was a serious thing for me until I actually started working with big name clients and actually my work being out there. I think it seemed like something fun I was doing, and it wasn't a career until it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her face is literally everywhere, so if you don't know her already, you'll be seeing her face literally all over the stores and just all over the campaigns.
Oh my goodness, you're so sweet.
Let's move on to the career. What was your first major break and how did it change your career?
I would say my first major break was being a playmate, working for Playboy, and it was honestly I think it was the first or second month of being signed.
Yeah.
And I honestly was hesitant on doing it because it was, Playboy is like known for nudity, and there's a lot of things that I was afraid to show, or what I didn't know what I was walking into.
Sure.
But my agents were really pushing me to do it, and my family was a bit hesitant on it, and I didn't really tell many people. And I'm so glad I did, and I feel like it just put my face out there, and it really and I feel like my agents also took me really serious because they were like, wow, okay, so she's somebody.
Yeah.
And it gave me a platform. For sure.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful.
Yeah. I actually remember when that came out, like those photos were insane. They're so beautiful and tasteful. And I think it was a time where Playboy was also like taking a turn and like rebranding.
Yeah.
Still showing like the essence of a woman, but just it was in a different way. So I'm sure that was really cool to be a part of it too.
Yeah.
Because I think like Playboy is rebranding as a whole right now.
And I think it could have gone in so many different directions, but I was so grateful that they gave me so much creative direction, and I was able to say so many things and make certain decisions. And if I wasn't comfortable with something, that they were totally okay with that. Yeah. And I really appreciated that whole experience and the journey, and it was just unreal, honestly.
So awesome. Yeah. That is like a career milestone. Like I don't think it gets literally any bigger. Literally. So it's crazy to have started off like, oh, we're all the way up here.
I was
right off the bat.
I was like, oh my god. And it's crazy because I was seen by Christy Beck. I love her so much. She's who found me, and it was actually from a test shoot I did for free.
Oh, cool.
And she just saw it, and I'm like, this was like, it was unreal. I was like, wow, this photo was what got me this.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Awesome. Yeah. And for anyone that's watching that's not really into modeling or aware, like while you're while you're working, you also have to build your portfolio and do test shoots. So a lot of those things you either have to invest in or there's a trade. So I feel like a lot of the work that you're not necessarily paid for can like get you into so many doors that you would just never even know. So keeping yourself open is a plus for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's really great because test shoots can be very expensive. So when you meet creatives or people that just believe in you so much and they want to work with you and they do it for free, that's huge. Yeah, that's amazing because it's like, wow.
What do you wish you knew when you first started?
Honestly, I think I would say about money. I would say I would like wish I knew more about like investing and like saving my money certain ways. I feel like I really appreciated every moment, so I wouldn't say anything like that, but I also would say maybe focusing more on myself and not so much like a relationship or like someone, because that could really like veer you from another direction and like really bring you down.
For sure. I can definitely relate there. I feel like you really have to focus on yourself in the beginning because you can get so distracted or missed out on certain opportunities because of that. So I have definitely been there, literally. Yeah. My first couple years out here.
Exactly. And you could be at an insane experience, like an insane job. And you're just not there mentally. And you're not there to experience, like fully like understand where you're at and like appreciate, the opportunity that was given to you. And I think that's very unfortunate. So
we live and we learn.
We do. We're still learning.
Right. Forever learning.
I'm still learning, yeah.
Me too. Every time I think I learned, I'm like, oh, no, we're doing this again.
Yeah.
Haven't learned it yet. Fully. How do you handle rejection and what strategies have you developed to stay resilient?
I think that's a great question because I think there's a lot of rejection, like constantly. But I would say I was reminded by my agent one time because I was like, man, I'm getting so many on options, which meaning like you may or may not get a job, you have to see. And I was being released a lot, and I'm like, I was like, what's going on? Like, what am I doing? He said, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just like, it may be so many different other things that are going on behind the scenes that you don't know about.
Right.
They may be looking for someone with blonde hair, and sometimes you just don't fit what they're looking for, and that's okay. And like as long as you're on their radar, that's what matters.
Right.
And I think I just needed to remind myself that what's meant for me will be for me, and that I'm not missing out on anything because that wasn't meant for me.
For sure. No, yeah. I definitely feel like we're in the industry of hurry up and wait. Like,
Yeah.
make sure you're available, be ready, but we have to kind of see if we want you for this specific project. So you just really have to stay strong mentally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know it can be hard too when you're like on option and it's for like, let's say a dream job and you get excited. I think like over time too, you have to regulate your emotions and not get too excited until like your foot is on set. Literally.
Exactly.
Literally. Yeah. So moving forward to life in LA, how do you balance your career with your personal life in a city like LA?
I would say like going to dinners maybe after set, or I feel like as in like in for modeling, like there's definitely some time in between, and I think that it gives you a lot of freedom in some ways, not always, but sometimes, where you can go with friends and you can just like, you know, do fun things that you I think it's very possible to balance, you know, your career and friends. You just have to kind of prioritize certain things at certain times.
For sure.
Yeah.
So LA is often portrayed as glamorous. What's something most people don't see behind the scenes?
It definitely is seen as glamorous. I think that sometimes it can feel really lonely sometimes. And also like the pressure of being like this perfect being, because I think, and also like wanting to get things done. I think that is something that's like, if I wasn't in Vegas, I wouldn't feel the need to get certain things done. But since I'm here and I'm seeing, you know, these perfect people, you know, in a sense, it makes me want to be that.
Right. Like a little like time pressure.
Yeah. And just wanting to look a certain way, or like know certain people, or just, it's just like this pressure, I think.
For sure. I definitely feel like it's a city where you kind of have to be on.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're going to events and things like that.
That matters.
Like,
it matters.
You're kind of forever networking. Like even if you go out to dinner or the club, like there's a likelihood of running into someone where you have to like keep yourself open.
Right.
For sure. So that can be interesting.
Yeah.
But it's overall like a great opportunity.
It is. I think it is. I think there's a lot of opportunity here, and you know, if you just go for it and you don't give up, I think that's what matters.
Yeah. Cheers to that. So moving on to inspiration and advice. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out in LA chasing their dreams?
I would say maybe not comparing yourself. I think that's really important too, because everyone's on their own journey, and you don't know what, you know, things that are going on behind, you know, the scenes with them. And I think comparison is the thief of joy, and it's really true. So I would say that, but I would also say to believe in yourself and know that you are worthy of whatever you desire.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I mean, I feel like that can be hard to get to, but once you get there and you just are like secure with who you are, it gets easy. But it's definitely a place where there's so much competition, there's so many models, people in the industry. So I just think like loving yourself is key.
It's key in all aspects.
You will sink out here real quick.
They'll eat you up and spit you out.
Yeah, for sure. How do you stay motivated and maintain your passion when things get tough?
I would say I would have to remind myself of where I started. And I think seeing how many great things have happened, and I think it just pushes me. And also my family, my nephew, I just wanting to give him everything. I honestly, I have to work hard. I have to, you know, be in a position where I am able to do that for him. And also, I think, you know, just knowing that not everyone can have this life, and not everyone has this life, and a lot of people want it. And I just have to remind myself that I'm very, very blessed.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Moving on to mental health and wellness. What impact has this industry had on your mental health, and how do you maintain a healthy mindset?
I think mental health is very important. I would say, I think, you know, kind of what I was saying earlier, like just comparing myself, and, you know, and also like not even like body wise or image wise, but opportunity wise. Like if I see, you know, it's hard, you know, when you see people like, you know, get jobs and you're, you know, you were an option for that. And they're like, okay, so, you know, weren't picked for that one, but they were. And, you know, I think you just kind of have to be happy for certain people and know that your time will come eventually.
For sure.
And like I said, what's meant for me will be for me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
For sure. Also, like, I think over time, too, in the industry, like, if you do an audition or casting for something and you're on hold and released, and then, like, the project comes out and you see it's an entirely different model, different,
Yeah.
like, race, size, hair color, I think that helps, too.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, it's not always about you specifically, like,
Right.
being denied an opportunity. It's just, just understanding the industry. And I guess, like, over time, I started to see myself as a product versus a person, and I feel like that helped a little bit.
Right, exactly. And I also feel like what helps with mental health is, doing other things.
Yeah.
Doing other activities or whatever makes you happy. Like if you want to be in nature, make time for that and yourself. Not forgetting that there's other things that can, fulfill you.
For sure. How do you deal with the pressures of social media and public scrutiny?
Man, social media is really something. It's great, but there's good things and bad things about it. I think it's hard. It's sometimes really hard because, again, it's just like you're comparing yourself and you're like, man, I really, wish I looked like that, or I wish I had that, or I wish I was there. And I think just being content is really important. And also, I kind of, when I see things that I like and I wish I had it, I take it as like inspiration.
Yeah.
And I kind of like do something that maybe similar, but like, that was inspiring to me. And I like that instead of like, oh, I wish I had that, like kind of just switching your mindset.
Yeah.
Is really important. And also I think, putting content out there that makes you feel good about yourself too. It's like really great. And it's like, it's rewarding in that way.
Definitely. Do you feel like with social media now being kind of like monetized and it being, getting paid to post and things like that, do you feel like that has like altered your creativity, or is like you've burned out at times?
I think what I've kind of recently experienced is my social media kind of being, wanting it to be kind of pulled back a little bit on my creativity. I think, my agents, which I know they have my best interest, they feel like I should, be posting certain, like, maybe other things or, not as intense as I kind of do sometimes, which I know it's coming from a good place. It's just sometimes hard when I want to create something, but I know in the back of my mind they're not going to really like it. And I'm like, ugh. So it's kind of, there's that like back and forth of like, what do I want to create? And like, what am I supposed to create in the same way?
Right. Like finding the balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot that I've created and not posted, but it's like I still have to exercise like the creativity that I want to like, the things I want to create. I need to still do those things.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can't post everything the same.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But I love all your posts. So looking to the future, where do you see your career going in the next 5 years?
I was really thinking about that, and I'm like, 5 years from now, where do I want to see myself, like, as a whole? And to be honest, I of course would love to do modeling still, but I think I would love to just hopefully maybe be a wife and a mother.
Ooh.
So I think I would be focusing on my career, but not as much. But I never know what's gonna happen. But I'm just saying, that's what I would hope, is I would, kind of be building or like creating a family of my own.
Yeah.
And also I think I would want to do more volunteering and maybe go on more mission trips.
Definitely.
I think that's what would really fulfill me a lot.
For sure.
But I think for modeling, whatever really comes my way or what's meant for me in that time period, I would be really grateful for it.
And then to end, how do you want to be remembered in this industry, and what legacy do you hope to leave?
I think I would want to be remembered in this industry. Maybe someone that brings light to set, and, someone that is positive and happy, and probably unapologetically myself. I think I, sometimes can be a lot, but, in the best way, I would hope.
Yeah.
So, and also keeping my faith, I think, is really important for me. And being true to myself and working really hard and, sometimes sacrificing some things, but know that it was worth it.
Yeah.
For what I love.
I love that.
Yeah.
I wish you all the best. I know, like, so many great things are going to happen. And
thank you so much.
Crazy enough is you're just getting started, but you've already done so much. So I know it's only up and up from here. I don't know if it can go higher.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate it. And, you know, you really picked at my brain with these questions, and I'm glad maybe I can help anybody, or, you know, this was just such a fun opportunity to do with you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, where can they find you on social media?
So Instagram at Alicia_Olivas L, and TikTok, which is 343.Alicia.
Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Cute.